Oh, son of a bitch. Even if it does lead us to that real ending, I'm in no mood right now to throw ourselves into the middle of Honnoji Temple. Dear God, it doesn't matter which way we go. The final mission of the campaign does not actually take into account Masamune's actions in this alternate universe. Absolutely every mission we enter is us interrupting someone else's battle. Doesn't matter if we win or lose, our forces will not get any respect, and events will transpire as if we didn't do anything last time. Again, who decided to throw this character into the game if they were going to do so little with him? When you've got a cast this big and you have such a hard time giving people the attention they deserve, you've got to start thinking who needs to be cut so you can pay those various characters some attention. And Masamune definitely feels like he deserves to be on the cutting room fucking floor. Of course, the saddest part is, this is the only time in the game that I can think of where it feels like two armies are actually fighting inside a castle. And neither of those armies are our own. Did Masamune even bring anybody with him to Odawara, or did he just ride off on his own? Not that it'd make a difference either way. Well, those arrows are starting to feel annoying. Though I suppose with the sheer size of these holes, the archers are actually pretty practical indoors. Doesn't seem like we need to worry about being chased in this castle. Not that there's ever really much reason to be worried about that, with the way these castle infiltrations typically go. Great! Someone firing a musket so rapidly that even a modern pistol would be jealous. And to make matters worse, I swear I saw at least one guy strafing as he fired as if he was playing Halo. I'd probably make a joke about the fact that wooden swords somehow easily beat these superpowered muskets around here, but now I can't help wondering why so few games with melee as a focus make guns anything even mildly respectable. Hell, if arrows and bullets do so little, then why bother having them in an army? Though by that same logic, why have an army when a single person can just steamroll over absolutely everyone? Right, the guys who are just generic officers are somehow promising souls. I'm sorry, but that kind of line only feels right when there's some soul-reaping or absorbing insanity going on. And that's not getting into the fact that after all the won battles so far, we're still being treated with so little respect by everyone. You know, come to think of it, these battles where there are 3 factions on the field would have been the best time for me to try experimenting to see if soldiers with higher morale actually do fight better. Not that this mission has given us any morale indicators as far as I know, or that I actually care. I'm pretty sure this entire campaign is full of nothing but idiots. And that's because the writers clearly put as little effort into it as they could in every way. So I have no idea why I chose to do this mission, when there's little to no chance the cutscene at the end of this will be in any way good. Maybe it's just the fact that they probably had to go through at least a little more effort coming up with this castle infiltration than just inserting Masamune into yet another battle he never saw. Though I suppose he could have been old enough to have at least heard of Nobunaga's death when it happened, even if he didn't participate in history, so that's certainly an improvement over some of the earlier missions. Right. Of course the booby traps don't go off if someone from an invading army rushes over them. They only trigger when a player character runs into them. You should not need to ask that, since Masamune kicked your ass at least twice already in this campaign. Hello? Am I the only one trying to pay attention to the events that we've been going through out here? Even in this mission. Yeah, for God's sake, even if this mission isn't going to lead to the good ending, can we at least get some sense that our repeatedly victorious Masamune is getting some measure of respect from the people he slapped around repeatedly? You know, if it wasn't for how easy the fights tend to be in this game, I'd probably be annoyed that there's no way to lock on to more durable foe, or I wish we could. That said, these two are definitely doing a better job than usual, taking advantage of the fact they got a 2-on-1 edge on us. If only this fight felt like it actually meant something, then us beating them, would feel satisfying. Even in a final mission for this campaign, we're not seeing any actual consequences for what Masamune has been doing. I know this is primarily an action-oriented game, but there are better ways to pull off this sort of thing. Apparently, it was too much to hope that those grunts would drop a healing item. Guess we're just gonna have to finish off Yukimura while we're in critical condition. And good God, am I annoyed that he's little more than a random speed bump in this campaign. It's not that I expressly wanted him to have the same relationship with Masamune as he did in Sengoku Basara. Different company, using the same names as a basis for similar but different characters. I know they're not gonna actually be the same here. It's the fact that there have been no character interactions of any actual worth, especially for characters like Masamune and Kenshin, who are the only major characters in their clans. Again, if you're gonna have a cast this massive, then you need to do more than just give everyone unique looks and different styles of movements. You need to have them bounce off of each other. Sure, each character has some basic character traits, but without anyone to really interact with, it's painfully shallow. Painful enough that I'm tempted to either skip this game altogether after somehow managing to push myself over 10 hours through it, or just putting it on the proverbial shelf and just plain taking a break for it again. Sure, it can be interesting and fun in its own way to see how a series evolves from one installment to the next, but we've done a very solid amount of this game so far, and sadly, the best moments for me were the early few campaigns. I'm holding out hope that some of the later ones will make me feel the same as when we went through Yukimura's, Hanzo's, and Magoichi's campaigns, but this is the 8th character we've gone through, and I've already gotten tired of how little effort they went through to make things feel different for each character, much less the poor storytelling for this guy specifically. It's one thing to use the same general mission types over and over again, and even use the same maps. It's another thing altogether to imply you're going through an alternate history story, but just copy and paste other people's events and throw the player into the mess of it for the hell of it. And I mean, hell, as badly done as Shingen's alternate history was, that was more of an effort than this crap. This is just unforgivably bad mission design for a series of 5 to 6 missions in a row. I should probably feel more worried that we're running into Keiji when we're this badly wounded. Indeed. How dare you keep treating the brat that the story doesn't treat with any respect with a lack of respect. Especially when this kid is historically responsible for you dying. I'd say it's enough to make a kid want to take his ball and go home. But this game didn't give Masamune a ball as a weapon, just a pair of wooden swords. I suppose, technically speaking, he's got more respect in terms of appearance than Oichi did. His weapons might be childish in their own way, but at least they could be considered training weapons, unlike that girl's outright toy. Too bad she got the more interesting story, even if it was more questionably told. I wasn't aware that Keiji was interested at all in taking over the land. He's just a badass warrior, not a lord leading his province to greatness. That would be easier to take seriously if it wasn't for the fact that even the people you've already defeated numerous times aren't treating you with any respect. Please excuse me for groaning when you think you're being awesome, Lord Masamune. And while the game is going to make both factions charge at us at once for the sake of making things more difficult, it's blatantly obvious that Masamune isn't who either of these guys care about. Not even sure why we're not dead yet, or why I don't feel worried that we could easily go down to an unnamed grunt. If anything, ending this campaign with Masamune being killed and forgotten would probably feel more amusing than either of the actual endings this campaign has to offer for us. Yeah. Again, this was less of a test of skill and just a test of patience while we waited for whatever random number generator makes healing items finally send us something that makes what's left of this fight very much in our favor. Hell, I can't even find it in me to feel excited about which of these two to take down first. It's not like either of them were given much to work with in their own campaigns, and they had even less to offer the story in this rush job. I can't help thinking it would have made some kind of sense if Shingen managed to kill Kenshin right there. Then we could have had a moment of Shingen mockingly consoling Masamune for constantly trying so hard only to never achieve anything of any real worth. But that would require some genuine effort from the writers here. And with Shingen done, let's see what the bad ending for this character is. Not that the good ending will probably feel that good anyway.
終わったようだな。米沢に帰るか。わしの故郷に。だが、わしは必ず帰ってくるぞ。
I'm sorry, did I somehow miss something in these events? Even Masamune sounds like he's not that satisfied by his victory. But all the other victories we went through so far, he was satisfied despite the lack of... should I even keep trying to pay attention anymore? Is there anything in this campaign that we aren't effectively discarding and trying to forget about? Because as far as I can tell, it has been nothing but discard, discard, discard. Ugh. Wait, carrying a golden cross? Sure, he was a proponent of Christianity until Tokugawa banned it, but this just feels random. Wait, you mean to tell me the bad ending for Masamune was him bowing to Hideyoshi like he did historically? There wasn't even a hint in this story that the Oda were actually a major power, much less that Hideyoshi could take over all of Japan and rule once Nobunaga and Mitsuhide were dead. Dear God, here I thought this campaign couldn't get any frickin' dumber.